Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I'm your host, King 053, Mr. Easy Imali Enengi, and we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we go back to Nkandla, where Jacob Zuma has just now released a media statement through his party. I saw this interview from News Live. And I was very disturbed with what the president said. But what he said has not surprised me. I've always said to you guys, mainstream media is purposefully excluding the MK party from coverage. They cover, even when they cover an event, they cover a notion that they want to push. They cover an angle that they want to push. They won't cover everything because all the events of Mkhonto Wesizwe were successful. So it bends them. It bends them to pieces. They don't want to see Jacob Zuma being successful in whatever he's trying to do. So they're trying to derive Mkhonto Wesizwe like thoroughly so from reaching out the masses of the people, because they know Jacob Zuma is one. It's not like the EFF or the ANC where there's multiple personalities that can go throughout the country. But Jacob Zuma is one man, and people are waiting and eager to hear from this one man. Now, on the 22nd of this month of May, Jacob Zuma had an interview with the SABC. They interviewed him. After interviewing him, they never aired the interview, and they blocked him from speaking to the masses, because I'm sure in that interview you are saying things that they don't like. And a Jacob Zuma interview, you don't just edit and release it. You take it. You take it to the big people, and the big people listen to it. Remember, the SABC is a state-owned company. You understand? It is there to be impartial. It is there to be fair. It is there to be transparent and everything. But at the end of the day, who appoints the board of the SABC? You understand what I'm saying? On the 23rd, again, ENCA, I don't know why is Abu Jacob Zuma doing an interview about ENCA. ENCA is owned by Johan Rupert. Those people are not going to release material. And this, these presenters, they know what is going on, but they are keeping quiet because this is their job. Their job is to make sure that they silence Jacob Zuma. I'm going to play the whole interview right now for you guys. I'm going to play it right now. Excuse me. Let me just put my 2 cents in before Umsholo Zakulum. You know, on the 23rd, ENCA went, interviewed him, but after that, they just blocked it. Can't release it. There's people that are telling them that, listen, hey, the boss is saying no. The boss is saying no, don't release it. You will fire all of us. All of us, cameraman, driver, analyst, everyone will be fired. They are not free, these people. They are not free. And that is why in the time of Jacob Zuma, the Guptas released their own newspaper and released their own news channel. Newsroom Africa was their channel. I can't remember what was the name. You guys will give me the name on the comment section. They had their own channel because they wanted to push a certain narrative that mainstream media is not covering. But when we say things like this, when Jacob Zuma speaks out, they say, he's playing the victim card again. Jacob Zuma is good of playing the victim card. So Jacob Zuma is not allowed to express what he feels. He's not allowed. And even in this interview, he's trying so much to remain respectful and not say things the way I would have said them. They like say them straight. He's trying to be respectful to say, guys, be careful as what is happening here. We are going back to the apartheid days where other people are allowed to express their freedom of speech, but others are not. He's saying the courts are treating me unjustly. Even in the apartheid days, you could not be jailed without a trial. Even in the apartheid days, in the new democracy that we have, Jacob Zuma is the first person to be jailed without a trial. So unfair. And this is the former president that is getting treated like this. And then you speak about state capture. Which state capture actually is there? If the public protector's office is captured, the public protector who say the transition of the money does not mean there was a sale. Oh no, the sale does not mean there was a transition. The public protector. After that, they appoint her as a public protector. And then you have, she was an acting public protector by then. Then you have Zondo, who was the chairperson of the Zondo Commission, making sure that Jacob Zuma gets arrested, the faction of Jacob Zuma gets exposed, the radical economical transformation faction gets exposed. Excuse me, guys, I'm going to pay the interview now. Just have to give you guys background. The same Zondo then gets appointed as Chief Justice. The JSE, the people that were interviewing the candidates for the Chief Justice position, they elected Miss Maya to go. They recommended her to say, President, appoint this woman as the next Chief Justice. The president goes against their recommendation, and then he appoints Zondo. Why? Because Zondo did a good job. He took Zuma to prison. The same Zuma the same Zondo that released the killer of Chris Hani. History will judge these people. History will judge these people. I'm telling you. But anyway, let me not talk too much. Jacob Zuma sat down. And I've said this. Let me just talk to Mkhonto Wesizwe kahle kahle. Mkhonto Wesizwe, you need to have a media team. Mkhonto Wesizwe, you need a dedicated media team. We are suffering when it comes to getting material for you guys because we want to report what Mkhonto Wesizwe is doing. Mkhonto Wesizwe is having a rally there in Mpumalanga. Jacob Zuma is on the poster as one of the people that is going to address. The next thing, Jacob Zuma is in Kimberley. I stay in Kimberley. I stay a stone throw from the University of Solplaiki that Jacob Zuma built during his term. He was here, I didn't know. They were in a small hall speaking to the Khoisan students. I didn't know. I'm just here. We need a dedicated media team of Mkhonto Wesizwe, please. So let's listen to what Jacob Zuma said.
Ake ngikhulume nani namhlanje ngento engibona ukuthi iyaqhubeka noma thina sazi ukuthi siphila ezweni eliphila ngokuthi linombuso wentando yeningi. I'm greeting all of you in our beautiful country, South Africa. I thought it was necessary for me to talk to you today about some developments which I believe are painting a very serious picture to the behavior of our country's important broadcasting machines that we have in our country. I had an interview with the SABC on the 22nd, just 2 days ago, wherein they were seeking to have the views from me as a leader of the new party that has come in the country, Mkhonto Wesizwe. I had to express myself in what I know as a democratic country, where there is a freedom of speech. And unfortunately, I've just heard that the SABC blocked that meeting we had with their publishers. This is something out of this world because South Africa is a democratic country, freedom of speech, everything. But they have decided they cannot broadcast what Jacob Zuma has said. And I think I'm the only one so far that is being blocked by big broadcasting stations. I don't understand what is happening. I last heard this during the days, very hard days of apartheid, where many people were not allowed to speak. They were actually burned, not to say anything, not their views politically in particular. This is surprising. Where is South Africa going? What is happening to our country? Why there are individuals whose views are not allowed to be known by the country, whilst others speak at any given time, whatever they want. This is shocking. This is in keeping with the behavior of our legal experts in the manner in which they do make decisions that are very surprising. And as I've been speaking in few days with few stations, I realized that there is an uncomfortable feeling among other people. Why? Why shouldn't I express my views? Why shouldn't I tell the truth that I know? There is something shocking that South Africa is pulling back to apartheid methods and behavior. The whole SABC says Zuma must not be heard in South Africa. Where must I be heard? This is my country. I belong here. This is surprising. But it is even more shocking that not only the SABC, but the ENCA has done exactly the same on the interview I heard at Nkandla yesterday, which was the 23rd. Again, they blocked what I had given to the colleagues who were talking to me and asking me questions. Are we going back to apartheid country? What is happening in the country? The reason why I felt I should say something, because if it was just one kind of broadcasting station, I would have said maybe there was a mistake somewhere. But it is clear that all these big stations have come together to say Zuma must not be allowed to speak. Why? When we are getting into the elections, when we are supposed to express our views to the population of this country, when all political people are talking, are saying everything they want to say, and they are allowed to be heard. Why is Zuma not allowed to be heard on his views. In other words, whether it is the media or the judiciary in particular, they are waiting to ensure that Zuma's views must not be heard. Why? This reminds me of the days I joined the struggle because there was such apartheid kind of decisions and behavior that many of us were not allowed to speak, not even allowed to vote. Now we're about to vote, I'm campaigning. Now people are almost exercising the apartheid time that people like Zuma's are not allowed to be the president of the country. Why? What has he done? This is continuing in our own country. I wanted the people of this country to know that we seem to be getting back to apartheid behavior. We seem not to be indeed appreciating that we have a free country where people must express themselves freely, and the institutions that broadcast have the obligation to do so, not to stop others whilst giving even more time and everything to others. South Africa seems to be moving to a very serious situation. The problem is that if people stand up and say what you are doing, and because they've got no power to protest and do everything, they are going to be said, these are the people who are not respecting the country. But those who are actually having all the power to speak, to do everything, are given that one. I also heard that, in fact, the instructions came from the top. Why is this interference? I believe that as a country, we cannot keep quiet. And that's why I've decided to speak on this matter. I disagree with it. I think it is a difficult kind of thing to understand and to believe this was the South Africa with the democracy that everybody has been saying is number one democracy. Is there a democracy? Is there a democracy that if you form a party and you do so because you are saying we are not happy about how the country is going, you want to put a better kind of South Africa, and you are being punished on the law that talks about if you have taken 2 terms, you are not allowed to come back to be the president. Me, I did not finish my 2 terms. There was interference. So that part of the law should not apply on me. That's one thing. But the second thing, I did all of that when I was a member of the African National Congress. I don't know what the law says if I establish my own party, a new party that has never been there before, and I say I want to lead that party to become the president and change the wrong things of this country. I don't know where is the law that says so, because I've never come across it, that if you come up with a new party, therefore you are a new kind of a president of a new party, but you're not allowed to do so. I don't understand. This seems to be getting worse to what used to happen before the freedom of South Africa. I think all of you should look into this. You should not ignore it because it can take us very far. I have an experience why I'm talking, an experience that I went to prison when I have never had a trial. It has never happened in our country. It was a first. Precisely because I disagreed with what was being done by those who were given an opportunity to take decisions about things here, particularly from the legal system. They were angry, the judges took me to prison. I served 15 months. And who had put the case? It was the man who is in charge of the toppest part of our legal system in South Africa, the Constitutional Court. They were instructed by their chief, who was a chairperson of an institution that had been established to deal with the matters of corruption or whatever. I said I would not allow him to ask me questions because he would not be good for that, because he would feel uncomfortable when we talk, me and him. And I thought he was not going to be the kind of a man who will do what he was supposed to do. He will be biased. He argued with me and got angry and charged me straight to the Constitutional Court. Instead of correcting him, they went on. They ended up charging me, and I served. I'm even in the apartheid days, that kind of judgment was never heard. We are in trouble. We are going to get into trouble. So please be aware. Do not allow this to happen in our country. We must stop it. I just wanted to convey this to all of you, that we are in trouble. Some of us are in more trouble than others, but it must not be allowed. Thank you very much to hear me for a short while. We are going to talk more about these matters. South Africa is becoming an apartheid country. Choose between others and not others. Thank you very much.
Black Heart, the hustle continua. 100% good quality t-shirts, made to inspire your goals and dreams. T-shirts are now available at an affordable price. Place your order now. 068-473-6908. Instagram at Black7576. Facebook page Black Heart.